but it's not as good as the 6-Year-Old Man. I cannot believe it replaced it. I mean, and the characters are good, but I mean, no Bionic Man. This is not that great. Hi, I'm the Classic TV Reviewer. I'm here to talk today about a show that ran from January 1984 to May 31st of 1992, which is Night Court. And as a kid, I loved this show. I always wanted to be a part of this show. You know, besides this one too. Night Court had great characters, such as Harold T. Stone, played by Harry Anderson. It would have Richard Mole is Bull Shannon. John Larroquette is the horny the lawyer named Dan Fielding, which, you know, he won awards for this, and he actually took his name off the ballot because he was that good. He thought someone else should have a chance. Markie Post would come into season, 3, but she did make an appearance in season 2. Selma Diamond was in it, and then she passed away in the end of season 2, and they had another actress, Flo, and then she passed away after season 3, which brought Roz in, and Roz was played by Marsha Warfield. A funny actress, great comedic, and follow her on Twitter because she is so freaking hilarious. That's pretty much the... Oh, there was Mac, which was really good, and he's a really interesting character. But a lot of these characters did not start off with the show. The only one... The show's about the youngest judge ever in New York City, Supreme Court. And he's Harold T. Stone, played by Harry Anderson. And they don't want him there. Dan and some other characters which did not stick to the show, they weren't even after the pilot. And Bull, they go, well, he's kind of immature, he plays pranks. You know, he's a magician, amateur magician. You know, he wasn't like the standard judge they had. And Karen Austin, which I don't know what happened, but she was kind of playing a love interest at some point, and by the end of the season, halfway through season 1, she's gone. So, I looked it up. I have no idea. It's a mystery why she left. They had another actress, and by season 2, they had Billy, which was this kind of like tough New Yorker type, lawyer. And by season 2, she's gone. And replaced with Markie Post, who would remain through the rest of the series. And, every character has to kind of adjust to Harry, because he's like, oh, what's this in your ear, or it's a coin, or he's just doing some kind of magic trick. He's always trying to liven up. It's like if you had to go to court, you would want Harold T. Stone as your judge. And they had the lovable Bull Shannon, who was, played by Richard Mole, and once, they had Selma Diamond play Selma, and she was more of a mother figure to Bull. And there's an episode where Bull was taking care of a baby, and he kind of is acting strange, and he leaves, and Selma is just slapping him, and this woman's not a very big woman, and this guy is freaking huge. And she sat and goes, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. And it's just so hilarious. I cannot really do a very well job of that. But after her passing, like I said, they replaced her with another actress. And after that, this other actress, she was replaced by Marsha Warfield, which I think was one of the best choices they could. They made her more Bull's equal instead of making her a mother figure. And she is just some smart-ass character, and she's very lovable from the very beginning. She has diabetes, which gives her that more human type feel, because I know people with diabetes. There's an episode where she had to get a shot, and Dan had to give it to her because she's up on the roof, and she ends up thanking Dan, and she goes, I don't want to play this game, we should be friends. It was just a really good episode and heartwarming. As, the show would go on, there was always kind of this love type interest with Harry and Christine, which was Markie Post's character. And I never really thought that much of it. I don't think it really worked as a story. I mean, they kind of the next to last season they kind of did something with it, and they go, oh yeah, but I'll get into that later. But that was something kind of through the show. I still felt that part of the series worked, and of course they had Mac, which was a company clerk, and he was just like another black character. He was hilarious, and Mac was married to an Asian woman named Quan Lee. And they were very interesting characters because Quan Lee was completely the opposite of Mac. Mac was a Vietnam veteran, and he met Quan Lee in Vietnam. And we get, to me, the star of the show, Bull. Bull was this big man who was almost kind of childlike. He was sweet, much like my best friend here. Just the sweetest guy you could know. But he also was like Chewbacca. He could also tear you apart, if you fucked him over. And Bull was basically the star, to me, the star. As a kid, I always wanted to hang with Bull. I always dreamed about being in that show, hanging with Bull and just doing all kinds of stuff with Bull. As a kid, every kid on the playground would talk about the next day, Friday. Oh, did you see Night Court last night? I mean, it seems kind of weird, but it was the 80s and early 90s. We didn't really have much cable. And I shouldn't forget Dan Fielding, who is a horny lawyer that wants to fuck every woman in the show. And they humanized Dan many different times. Where they showed him being really realizing maybe I shouldn't treat women like that, but it's like, the next episode he's back to the same stuff he did. In the final season, Dan would go into the Phil Foundation. And at first he was greedy when he used the money, but then he loved giving. He loved, what he did. And he got fucked out of the money in the foundation, and he's doing whatever he can. And the final season, of course, he just loses it and becomes like the Phantom Opera. And they got him mental help, and he handed the Film Foundation over to this other guy who basically was, better equipped to handle it. And he got all the money was back. So as I'm going into the characters, I will go into the rest of the season. The final season is the worst, and I will completely get into that just a little bit later. But, I mean, in season 7, Markie Post is pregnant, and I always wondered, well, why did they just hide her, put her under big clothes? They wrote it in, and I wasn't really too happy with the way they wrote the pregnancy in. Markie Post's character met this cop, and he wasn't in it that much, Tony, and I liked the actor. For one, the actor was really good. And I would like to see more of him. But we didn't see him in that many episodes. And then they kind of made, they ended up getting married at an Italian restaurant by Uncle Phil, our shredder, James Avery himself. And, in that one night, they have sex and she's pregnant. And then they say, oh, Tony's off in, the jungle somewhere, taking down drug lords. And they go, oh, you'll never see this guy again. And basically it's like, okay, all the Harry, Dan, Bull, and Roz, they all get together and basically help her with her pregnancy because her husband isn't there. And I really didn't like the way it was executed, how they really, did. I would have rather them just see them, had them get together, she had a baby, and then instead of all this other crap they did with it. And the final season, season 7, she gives birth to the baby in an abandoned elevator. The elevator just, crashes, and of course John Astin is in the episode playing Harry's stepfather, Buddy. and he delivers the baby. And also, in the season prior, you find out, oh, he is not his stepfather. He's his actual father. Darth Vader moment there. And in basically, there they go into Christine's marriage, and Harry had a girlfriend for a bit, and she went to witness protection, and they're not that great episodes. Well, after season 8, Harry and Christine, they were trying to do a romance there. He was getting jealous of her and Tony spent a lot of time together. And Tony is basically stepping down, and they were planning little Charlie's birthday party because Christine was a huge fan of Prince Charles and Di. And basically, Harry, at the end of season, Harry and Christine kiss. And then when we get to the final season, they basically are trying to figure out how we say, oh, I'm not really want to be your girlfriend or boyfriend. It just didn't work. Which really didn't work for me to begin with. Harry and really, they kill each other, and it, goes there and they can work together. So the show goes on with, Dan basically doing this, going back. He started becoming more like a virgin state. And then he goes out to the woman. She's like, oh, the Dan Fielding. She's like, I want to basically be fucked by this Dan Fielding guy. And he's playing Chutes and Ladders with her that night. So the woman gets upset because she did not get laid by Dan Fielding, so she slaps him. And that brings him out, and he becomes the same old Dan again. Which I did not like that, because I like the story where he became a better person. I really like that. And it's like, oh, we're just saying Dan's going back to the same old Dan. I did not like that. And basically, at the end of the season, oh God, do I have to really bring this up? Okay. The series finale is the stupidest series finale I think I've seen ever. And it's a show I loved. For one, Harry is offered all these job opportunities. He's offered Supreme Court, bench on the Supreme Court. He's offered, all the, like a Nike deal. He's offered a talk show. He goes, oh, I'm getting out on Fox, but I'm not really hoping too much on that. He gets to tour with his idol, Mel Torme. And he cannot figure out what to fucking do. And I'm sitting there like, okay, if Lee Majors said, hey, Josh, you want to, do a $6 million man tour? I'm there. I'm going. And, that's kind of, and I was like, really, that's where he should have went. That's his hero. Come on, that doesn't make sense. But once you get to the decision he makes, it's so fucking, he decides to stay there. That's how he decides. It's just, oh, I'm going to stay here at the court. We're not coming back for another season, guys. We're actually, no, I'm going to stay here. And Dan is dating this girl that's half his age, and he finds out that he used to, back in the 60s, he had sex with her mother. And they kind of like, is she his daughter at first? And it turns out she's not. Is Dan's story arc. And it turns out, he's really upset, and that he's not with her. It's like, by that point, what they do, I kid you not, just comes out of nowhere and is stupid. He decides he has a dream about Christine defending him, and he decides from that dream he's in love with her. He's been in love with her all these years. He's wanted to have sex with her all these years, but love, that's pretty strong, guys. And as I get into Christine's story for the final episode, she was running through Midway. They just picked her out of random to run for, I think it was Congress, and she's going to have to move to Washington, D.C. So Dan is going to stalk Christine. He's moving all that way, gives his resignation to Harry, and he's going to go stalk Christine. Yeah, not a good idea, guys. Stalking women isn't cool. I've been there, it ain't cool. And it was just basically Christine was upset about leaving. There's really not much to say about Christine's, final episode. And we get to Bulls, which is so stupid. Bull keeps seeing people around him and nobody's seeing him. Well, to make a long story short, they're the old people, and they say they're from the planet, they're from Venus. And they go, oh no, Venus, I think it was Miami or something like that. It's just so stupid. And it ends up, they turn out to be real aliens. And they said, Bull, we need you to come back to our planet to help us get stuff off the high shelves of the grocery stores. You're from another planet. I'm sure you could build a robot or something to do it. They go, you'll lead a good life, Bull. And it's like, Bull says, okay, and he goes off with them. And that's the final scene of the show. But what really gets me about this, Bull got married halfway through the show, and he's going to say, can I bring my wife with me, or anything like that. It's like, no, I don't know if they filmed this before or what. I don't know. Don't really give a shit. Matt gets to go to film school because that was kind of his thing through the rest of the series, that he wanted to go through, to film school. That was his dream. So he was leaving. And basically, Marsha Warfield's character, Roz, was staying. And so Harry and her were going to get a beer. End of the series. But that's not it. Whatever jackass at NBC did not do it for some reason, air it at the final episode. The last episode is a 1992 boat show, which is a standard episode about Roz, becoming friends with the upper crust, and Dan's jealous. I mean, it's nothing special. But that is technically the final episode, not Opportunity Knocks, the one I just was talking about. So, avoid the final season altogether, because if you like this show and you want to keep your brain cells, please stay away from final season. If they used to air it, I haven't seen it aired in a while, so I would recommend cutoff point to season 8. But until then, I hope you have a lot of fun with this review. I hope it's helpful, and until then, trust me, I know what I'm reviewing.